I'm not teaching, I am publicly learning. Hi, welcome to Learning for Life in the UK test for part 490. We're doing risk training, and if you participate in risk training, that's at your own risk. Now, we already prepared it. We want to shoot, while we're shooting that video, a separate video in which we're going to tell all we have learned here about the abolishing of women discriminating or discriminating laws, or of laws which were discriminating women in the 19th century Britain. So we will have basically two. One is no longer excluding women from voting, that was in the 20th century, and the other one is giving women the right to earn money and to keep it even after the marriage. Okay, I think we just start shooting that. I want to just do that one thing here. 1870, 1882, when a woman got married, her earnings, property and money automatically became to her husband, or keep their own earnings and property. Okay, now I have one camera running for this learning and various journey, and I have a second one which I'm going to start now. And now I try to say in one video down what we all learned. And we have time left, we can do multiple things. In the 19th century, there were some laws discriminating women in the United Kingdom. For example, were not allowed for women to vote in the elections, and also the property and the money which women had were directly given to the husband if married. And now there happened four things basically, two. The first one was the Reform Act of 1870 and the Reform Act of 1882. These two gave women the right to keep their own property if they're married, and also gave them the right to keep their own earning which they had earned in their work. And then the next two, they basically also go along together, these two. That was 1918 and 1928. There in two steps women got the voting right. 1918, women over the age of 30 got the right to vote, and then 1928, the same as all men from the age of 21 onwards. And that is according to the Life in the UK test handbook, page 44. Now, I didn't explain much to the backgrounds. It was pretty much on the laws and log. But we had explained so much to the other things, and who did what happened then. But I think in this case, let's look how that is. The video pretty much just the laws. I'm going to stop the camera. And I need some minutes for this training, so we are not able to do anything more. We could look a little bit onwards. Just the next thing will be, we could do one about the mood of the beginning of the 20th century. That would be an interesting video, I think. And we have it just written here. This was the mood up to the First World War. When you could do the First World War, the partition of Ireland. Okay, but I think the next video will be actually about, we're gonna name it the mood in the British Empire or in the United Kingdom leading up to the first decade of the 20th century. Now, if you're just here for that subject, you can go directly to the next video. That's all part of Learning for Life in the UK test. You can go directly to the next video. If not, you can participate in the risk training, and if you do so, it is at your own risk. First exercise is spotlight. We're having a good and stable stand, a bit more control of the part of the legs. The arms next to us, hands on to fists. We will bring these fists down, and we have three rules. The first rule is that we're stopping immediately as soon as there is pain. The second rule is that we're going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort, so we're not forcing anything. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. So if you feel like taking a break, take a break. We have quite a lot of exercises. If you want to take a break, you can do it at any moment. I'm gonna announce 3-4 times when it fits. Exercise, spot the flashlight, and we bring the fists not to the inside and to the outside. So the idea of a third rule is basically we're sticking to the idea that we just want to strengthen or not to exhaust it. This is not meant to exhaust the muscles, just to strengthen. One more time. And next exercise, magician. Now flat hands next to us, and we bring these flat hands to the inside and to the outside. Last time to the inside. Now we're doing the pancake flip. Flat hands next to us. We're opening them up. And again down. People would expect a little explanation why that happened. But we have not so much. We have no explanation to the 1870 and the 1882 Reform Act. And also to the other one we do not have. It was just mentioned that the suffragettes were fighting for it. Next exercise will try, what is it? Quadrangular castle architect. Arms out, hands on the fist into the inside. We now just know that the suffragettes were fighting for it. So I have a little problem. Yeah, so I'm going to split exercise. Next exercise. We're doing the crab anxious for fever. Arm next to us, hand onto fist, and we're bringing the fist down and pressing against it. So we only know about the two other things, that the suffragettes were fighting for it, but it was not named as a reason. It probably had an influence. And now from the outside. And then was written that it was partly in recognition from top now of the effort which women in the United Kingdom had brought up for the First World War. Now from the bottom. But it's not really a reason that this is. Yes, it is a reason. No, it's not. I don't know it's a reason. It's partly in recognition. What was the reason? So the reason is that I think it played an influence. It had a part in it. It makes sense if it was part of the reasoning. But what wasn't the reason? We don't know it. But you can read a line between lines. The suffragettes movement. They said about the Emancipation Act 1867, whenever it was, 1833. Next exercise that we're doing the materials in the morning. Hands out and bring the hands down. They said there that the Quaker groups who had formed formerly anti-slavery groups, and also people like Christian evangelist William Wilberforce, succeeded in turning the public opinion against the slave trade in 1802. So it is to assume that also the suffragettes movement played a part in that. Next exercise, materials in getting the women's voting right. But it was never said there. But I know what it is. And if you don't have a tennis ball, do it without one, and you're pressing onto the tennis ball, or just make a strong fist. We know of so many things concerning that. We're doing it a second time. Concerning that subject, which we don't know. So we know of so many things concerning the subject which we don't know. We're pressing again the hand switch. And we know them so precise. We're releasing again and we're pressing again. Because these are the things they basically had to mention there. From all what we had written elsewhere, these are the things they had to mention, but didn't mention. Because of this strong scheme of excluding of our alternatives, we can say almost pretty much surely that these are the things which are true. But I think most people, if they haven't followed, cannot understand what I mean. Next exercise, we're doing the cautious big bang. We're placing the fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand. We're pressing a bit. And we're opening slowly. And we're closing again slowly. And we're switching. And another time. And now we'll feel this new synthesis selector. Hands up, and we're opening and we're closing. I didn't mention it. You could have skipped the frog angel fever. But you can skip the next exercise. So after this here, the feel this new synthesis director, last one, you can skip this frog testing water temperature. We're bringing the hands down, the flat fingers. And we're bringing them up with strong fists. To extend. Again down, flat fingers. And up. Again down. And last step down. Next one, it is the bascule bridge. Flat hands and bending on into knuckles. Open again. We're bending again. Open. Next exercise, we're making claws. Flat hands and we're making claws. Hold it for 1 to 2 seconds and open again. And bending into holding claws. Last time. Next exercise, you can skip this one again. Arms up, and we're having strong fists, and we're bringing them into flexion. And now bring them out. Extension of flat fingers. Again, in strong fists, flexion. And out. Extension of flat finger. Again, in. Flexion, strong fists, last round. Out, extension, flat fingers. And the ice X. Bend the fingers again into the knuckles and press carefully on top of one. With the other hand, bend at the knuckles and press on top of one. Last exercise. Be unfolding your rocket boosters. Go to stable stand, long arms, strong fists, and bring these fists to the inside. Now to the outside, into extension of the flat fingers. Again in, strong fists, flexion, and out, extension, flat fingers. Again in, strong fists, flexion, last one, and out, extension, flat fingers. Okay, the relaxation exercise, we're going with the middle pressure over the middle part of the lower arm. That is where we extend your digital muscle. It's mostly used to extend the hand. Now we have made it quite a lot of times, so we want to relax with that. Now if you're on. And that was for this training. I thank you very much, and until next time.